curious to see what the Riot MMO is gonna be.
Riot MMO.
We're gonna take this.
Oh wait, we gotta see the whole thing. There it is.
We're gonna take this one real serious. This is an important video. We're not gonna get too wild this time. You know, that's a pretty mild intro there compared to normal. Let's talk about this Riot MMO. Everything that's known about it. Compiled a huge document. You guys are gonna love it. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I'm Tom Hanks. I'll be the narrator, and let's toast MMOs returning to glory.
Oh no! Damn! Like I just look, guys. Like yeah, it's just very convincing. It's yeah. We gotta get out the copium, guys. That's it. Like this guy already. It sucks, but there it is. Okay, here we go.
Ah, that's good.
Delicious.
Put the R thing up there and let's go.
Okay.
In the last couple of weeks, I've compiled a huge 93-page document of all the currently known or speculative information about Riot's upcoming MMO. In this video, I will share the information that I found to be the most definitive and or interesting. If you want to see the entire...
Bro, imagine how upset this guy's gonna be if it comes out and it sucks. Like, imagine if it comes out and it's bad. Like, and it's like he goes back and he looks at this whole spreadsheet and like half of the shit that they said they were gonna do, it didn't happen. It's like, I could just imagine him mauling, man. Yes, or it just turns out to be on mobile.
List of information. Click the link in the description to get the full document. First, let's talk about the information that seems to be the most confirmed of all the information. Now, this early in development, nothing can truly be considered confirmed, but this is information that seems very possible to be confirmed in the very near future. First, the announcement that they're indeed making an MMO. Second, we have clarification that it is indeed an MMORPG. Third, the name is not likely to be World of Runeterra. Next, we have indications that this game is in early development based on the LinkedIn post by the technical director and this tweet from Mark Yetter, the game director. Next, we find out that most senior roles were filled July of 2021. This might mean that full production might start sometime in 2022, but that is just a guess on my part. Next, there have been many posts from Ghostcrawler, the lead of the project, that suggest that they very much want to be a beginner/casual friendly MMO. Next up, they will not release the game if it is not good. They are not under pressure to meet any timelines and will take
that's a fucking relief. I mean, I will believe that. Like it's like, yes, I mean that sounds really cool, but like I'm not gonna immediately believe that. I will say that for sure. Catering to casuals, well, I think that it's important to have a game make sure that casuals enjoy the experience. Like not like making a game where it doesn't cater to casuals. Like every good game caters to casuals. Like WoW caters to casuals. Elden Ring caters to casuals.
Next, they will be getting feedback from the community via playtesting fairly early on. So we could expect to see some alpha testing for the public potentially, is my guess. I am sure there will be limited spots, of course, but this is all speculation. Either way, it is great to see them wanting to thoroughly test this game and get feedback. Next, Ghostcrawler did confirm PvP will be in the game. Next, it seems very likely to have raids, and it will have dungeons. Next, I think based on the job postings and one Ghostcrawler post on MMOs being stuck in the past a bit when it comes to combat, I think this game will have action combat. Maybe a bit early to put this in the confirmed category, but when the title of the job post is for an action combat designer, I tend to think it is very likely to have action combat. This is probably...
I think that what they should do, this is just like my general opinion on combat in MMOs, is I would like for there to be like some tab targeting to where you can have like an overall target for certain things, but for most of it to be action combat oriented. Because I think making it tab targeting makes it a lot easier for like more casual and just like in general shitty players to play the game. And I think if you make everything action oriented, you do lose a lot of people in that. So I don't really know if that's a good option, but I think that like some like basic auto attacks, etc. can be tab targeted. But in terms of actual abilities, I think skill shots are important. Yeah, obviously. It should be a mix is what I'm really saying. Yeah, it should be a mix.
Really too early to say confirmed about, but I think, again, based on the job postings and many references to Unreal Engine, that this game will very likely be developed with Unreal Engine. Ghostcrawler
That's
also
reassuring.
basically confirmed that they will use a Holy Trinity, and fishing is confirmed.
Thank God. I'm glad. Because, like, using the Trinity, great. Every game has the Trinity. Even Lost Ark has this to an extent. You've got Gunbreakers and you've got Bards. Like, yes, it's not as defined as it is in WoW, but there is still just this general trend. Lost Ark thought that, sorry, not Lost Ark, New World thought they could get away with it. They realized they couldn't, and then they went back on it, right? That's the way it goes.
Finally, they confirmed that the plan is for updates on the project in 22, but of course that is subject to change.
That
is
should be
all
soon.
the information I felt okay with putting in the confirmed category.
Okay.
Next I want to talk about the information that is more speculative, but that I found interesting. I think based on this post that the camera's perspective is likely to be the standard third-person perspective, just like most MMOs.
That's good. I think that having, like, Lost Ark's isometric fixed camera is great for Lost Ark, and I think that's cool. That's totally fucking fine, but I don't want to see that for a lot of other games. Yeah, yeah, isometric is great. I play Path of Exile, play Diablo, play Lost Ark. They're all great. However, I do feel like you can have a larger degree of immersion if you can move your character around and actually see the world around you in a more dynamic space.
They seem to be leaning towards less character customization in order to have an easier time with balance. They seem to be leaning towards a group size of 6.
That's what Final Fantasy does too. I mean, the odds are, like, Ghostcrawler and, like, a lot of these guys have probably played WoW. And the reason why WoW has such a hard time with balance and there's so many problems with the game is that I think Blizzard probably spends too much time on balancing because you have to balance too many different things. No question. What are these question marks? Do you guys not understand the game? So think about it like this, right? In World of Warcraft, you have talents, covenants, conduits, legendaries, gear, trinkets, tier set bonuses. And, like, I think there's probably other ones as well, right? So you have all soulbinds. Yes, another one. You have all of these things that you have to balance simultaneously to have relatively equal outcomes. That is incredibly fucking difficult. It is ridiculously fucking hard to do this. But if you compare that to, like, Final Fantasy, where you have, like, some choices of what you're going to do, but relatively most of these classes play the same. They're much more on rails. You don't have conduits, you don't have fucking covenants, you don't have soulbinds, you just have the class, and that's about it. And so, yes, you have 0 choices. Yes, you have much less choices. Lost Ark is somewhere in the middle. And so I would like to have a level of customization around where Lost Ark is, where you have a few different ways that you can build your character. Like, I don't like how in Final Fantasy it feels like you can only play your character a couple of different ways, right? That's about it. I would prefer to have it in Lost Ark. I think making it like WoW is just way too high of a task. Like, it just is, and you think that it's not, and it's like they spend all this time balancing where they could be developing new content. It's like you're always playing catch-up, and, like, you're always playing on the back foot if you make a game like that. You can just change job, though? Yeah, I know that, but, like, what I'm saying is, like, inside the job, you can't change as many things.
To be developing this game with guides and content creators in mind. Making randomized encounters with bosses could be one way to reduce the amount of guides that are available, for instance. On the discussion of innovation versus sticking with the status quo, I honestly think they might just stick to a fairly standard experience that we have seen in other popular MMOs, just done in the standard Riot way of doing it better than others. More
great, that's good. Like, yeah, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, you don't need to change a bunch of stuff or do anything like that. Just simply make a very, very good game. I think that's what people are wanting. And then have a few of your little, like little things that make it more exciting or better in certain ways. I think that's it. Yes, just make a better wheel. That's effectively what I'm trying to get at.
Polished, essentially. They may innovate some, but I think they don't try to break the mold here. Another interesting thing I saw was Ghostcrawler saying that the lead rewards designer role was very important. Not sure exactly what this means, but my guess is they want even the more casual players to feel rewarded as they play through the game.
That's one thing Classic WoW did incredibly well, is like Classic WoW had rewards for all tiers of players. Like, being able to just simply get a blue item in Classic WoW was a really big deal. So And like Burning Crusade was the same thing, whereas like now you're just showered with rewards, and there's not really there's not as much importance to like each item that you get or what you receive or anything like that. So I think rewards are a huge problem.
No racials, which again is potentially an attempt to make balance easier and let players choose their raids purely on aesthetics. They seem to want to make the game playable on low specs machines, which makes sense since they're aiming for a wide audience with this game.
Yeah, I think that's another thing. Like, yeah, obviously make sure the game is playable. Like, that's one reason why WoW, I think, is very good. And, you know, you could have a game like New World actually would be maybe harder to get into because a lot of people don't have a PC to run New World. And so, like, you've got to keep that in mind. Like, not everybody is, like, a super avid gamer. Some of them just want to play a game, you know, and they're using a PC they bought at, like, Sam's Club or Costco or something. And they can't run the game the same way. So it's like there's a million of those people out there, or they're doing it on a MacBook, and so they can't run, you know, some like super high definition game.
They may have scaled down or no talent trees in the game. One of the job postings referenced a verb ecosystem, which could be referencing a combo field system similar to what Guild Wars 2 used.
I don't know what
and
that
finally, they opened an office in Seattle and did confirm they will be hiring for the MMO in that office, which could mean some old ArenaNet devs on this team eventually. Next, I want to get into my personal speculation based on everything in the document. Basically, what I think this game is, after compiling all this information and researching this game as much as is possible this early in development. I think they don't try to break the mold. Some innovation, but nothing drastic. Cartoony graphics,
I would agree with that.
third-person camera, competitive PvE and PvP, more theme park than sandbox. In 2021, they finished hiring their team leads. I think 2022 is probably when production actually gets going in high gear. This could mean an info dump in late 2022, maybe some alpha gameplay in late 24, beta in late 25, and release in early 2026.
That would be crazy. Like, if they release it in 2026, like, when do you guys think Ashes of Creation is going to come out? I think it'll probably come out in like 2.5, 3 years, somewhere around there. Never. Yeah, 2024. I feel like 2024 is probably a good time. And so, yeah, I wonder how close these two games are going to get, really. 2036. One of these two games is going to come out first, or how close they're going to be to each other. So, like, all of this seems pretty much good to me. Like, do you guys see anything on this list that you think to yourself, like, oh, this is bad? Like, not too out of the box. I think this is a good idea. Cartoony graphics makes it to where, like, I hope that it's cartoony graphics, but they have very high fidelity. Like, cartoony graphics doesn't mean bad graphics. It just means, you know, things that are not photorealistic. Third-person camera, I prefer that. Competitive PvP and PvE, obviously everybody wants that. More theme park than sandbox. I think that every time, like, a lot of games, my opinion on sandbox games are sandbox games if the developer can't think of any content for them. That's generally the way that I look at it. Release or 6-man group size. I think you're just going to have to see the way the groups play. Now, you see something like Overwatch 1 was 6-man groups. I think that was like generally okay. And now they're cutting it down. Everything has like its own benefits and its own drawbacks, right? Having like larger groups and smaller groups. Action combat with combo fields, that's good. Much better in casual friendly WildStar, that's good. Becomes next MMO, that would be nice. Holy Trinity, I think that's a good idea. For anybody who doesn't know, Holy Trinity is having a healer, tank, and DPS that are clearly defined in the game. So, like, you know, there's the guy that holds aggro, the guy that heals the guy that holds aggro, and the guy that kills the mobs that the guy is holding aggro on. Like, that's what it is. And less customization for better balance. This is the only thing that makes me a little bit worried, but I just hope that they have some customization. Like, I don't want to just have it be like you play a warrior and that's all you play. Like, it's just you're a warrior, period. I hope that there are different types of warriors.
Being able to be on the fast end of the 4 to 8 year MMO dev cycle, since they can hire fast and appear to be using Unreal Engine, which will cut down on the amount of development time. 6-man group size seems pretty likely. I think they go heavy into action combat. Dynamic combat with some form of a combo field system similar to Guild Wars 2. In many ways, this game could look a lot like WildStar with similar combat graphics, but this game...
Another factor here also with like having something that's action combat is like League of Legends is action combat, and a lot of people are going to go and play League of Legends, and then those people, whenever the Riot MMO comes out, they're going to go play that too. right? I mean, that's just, it's common sense because it's made by the same company. It's the same as like a lot of WoW players went and they tried out Overwatch or they tried out Diablo 3 because they're like, oh, well, this game came out by the same company. We'll see what it's like.
Will very much appeal
It's
to
normal.
casuals and not be a niche product, and it has an extremely popular IP behind. I think this becomes the top MMO after launch, since that is what they're aiming for, and since Riot has a long history of releasing blockbuster games. They have the top MOBA, the top auto battler, one of the top FPS games. They don't release duds, and most every game is a hit. They design games from the ground up to appeal to the most people possible and become mainstream.
Riot in a lot of ways is doing something like, the top MOBA. They do. I mean, like League of Legends is, I think it is, I'm pretty sure it's way bigger than Dota. Am I wrong about that? I'm pretty sure it is way, way, way bigger than Dota. Yeah. I mean, Valorant, they don't top auto battle nor top FPS. No, I guess not. And I think it really depends. Like, how popular is like the I think what's that, Teamfight Tactics, Legends of Runeterra, and they also have Valorant. It is in Asia. CSGO is still bigger than Valorant. Yeah, but like Valorant's a newer game. I think that it's like impossible to compete against CSGO, and I think CSGO is always going to have a big audience, and it maybe will always have a bigger audience than Valorant, because CSGO is using guns that are real, and I think people understand that more, so it makes it more watchable as an audience member. Like, for example, like my dad can watch a game of CSGO and immediately know what's going on, whereas like Valorant, it's not as easy to figure it out. Like, yes, it is very easy to figure it out, but CSGO is even easier. Valorant's overloaded? I don't think it's overloaded, but there are definitely, like, there are guns in Valorant that just, like, I mean, I don't know, like, it makes, I don't know. I think what I'm saying is obvious.
Aim to be a niche game in a genre. I think they most likely have a holy trinity and a competitive raiding scene. Competitive PvP, I'm less sure of, but I think a competitive arena system is pretty likely. I think where PvPers might be disappointed is in open world PvP. Not sure this game will have much of that, given Greg's history on that, and given
I think that open world PvP is something that is great if you can opt into it and opt out of it dynamically. If you ever force people into open world PvP, I think that's a bad thing. And I think the people that want to push forcing players into open world PvP are generally bad players that want to find easy targets that don't want to actually fight against them in the first place. Because like, you think about it, right? It's like, if you're going over there and if the rewards themselves were just good enough and the game was just good enough in general, then you would just fight against people that want to be there. Like, what is the value of forcing people into a system they don't want to do, especially whenever you can get killed? Like, it just sucks, right? Care Bears? Well, it's not Care Bears. It's just people with better things to do. Nobody wants to get killed by like a group of 3 people whenever they're by themselves. This isn't fun. Like, it just sucks. And so, yeah, you should be able to turn it off and on dynamically. I think that War Mode for WoW was a huge improvement over the old PvP servers.
Wants to appeal to the masses. Many do not want open world PvP, although some of us, myself included, absolutely love it. I think they may have less customization than a lot of MMOs in order to have a better balance.
I think that's a good thing. And people are saying, like, yes, griefers are Care Bear. You know who the real Care Bears are the griefers. Because they're not in arena. They're not actually, in ranked gameplay. They're smurfing out in the world, killing people that don't even want to be there in the first place. They're the real Care Bears, because the odds. This is what happened with twinking back in Warcraft. I don't know if this is still the case, but back in the day, I used to always tell people I never met a twink who was a gladiator. I never did. It were always these 1800 shitters who couldn't handle arena, and they had to go back and buy advantages to win in low-level battlegrounds. That was the fucking facts. And yes, there's maybe a couple of them, but the majority of those people were fucking garbage. And I think it was the same thing with World PvP. These are people that are, these are people who could barely break 2K rating, and they were just sitting out there trying to kill people in involuntary PvP so they could build up their ego. Like, that's literally it. I cannot think of anything that is more Care Bear than that, because not only it's like at least the people who don't want to do it have the confidence to say, hey, I don't want to go and engage in this, you know, competitive content. But the people that are doing this, the gankers, they don't even have, their ego can't allow them to acknowledge that they're not good enough to compete on a competitive level. So they have to resort to killing people that aren't even trying to fight them. It's pathetic.
Or no
I used to
talent
gank people all the
trees,
time
no
too,
ratios, etc. I will have a
But it's
link to
pussy
this
bitch
document
gameplay.
in the video description. In the future, if we get enough new information to do an update video, I will. But in the meantime, I'll collect any new information I come across in my brand new Discord server. Also, follow my new subreddit and Twitter. Guys, I'm Teddy Roosevelt. I hope you enjoyed this.
Yeah, I'll say one more time. Yes, I think the biggest indicator of why Twinks played Twinking is the fact that Twinking died whenever they made it to where you could only queue into other Twinks.
Video. Got a really special song lined up to take us out. It's called The Sound of Silence. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain.
Why?
Still remains within the sound of silence.
Why? What was this? It just fucking came out of nowhere. Okay. That's great. All right, there we go. It's so random. Yeah, avoiding copyright. It actually doesn't avoid copyright. Covers of songs are still technically copyrighted by the people that originally made them. However, it is still funny. Yes, the voice of an angel. And okay, so this is a post that Ghostcrawler just made, and we're gonna look at it real quick, okay? So look at this here. So let's be a little bit more negative for a moment. Without bashing other games, what features do you not want to see in this game that we are making? So let's see. So this is the MMO. So he just made a post about this like literally a few minutes ago, and we'll see what people have to say about it. I don't want a PvP to feel forced where it might have the perception that it comes at a detriment to PvE content. Not necessarily a feature, but rather just philosophically. Too many MMOs accidentally have this feeling, intentional or not. Major barriers getting into content. I don't mean there's a quest line or there's gear you need, but rather a large checklist of stuff to do before even approaching the content that you want to partake in. No daily login rewards. Time-consuming progression. The feeling of, if I don't log in today, I will fall behind everybody else. What's this here? Any systems that are similar to those from Battle for Azeroth. Oh my god. Gilka, thank you very much for the 5 good subs. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Not having all your accounts progress account. Yes. Okay. Alright, I will make my response. 2 things. Number 1, character specific progress. I want to progress. Yeah, Master Looter, I don't really care about Master Looter that much. It depends on what the loot is. Boob Slider, who cares about that? 2 things, character progress. I want to be able to make progress on one character and have it be mostly, at least, account-wide. That's number 1. I would say that's number 1 that matters a lot. Number 2 that matters a lot. No systems that are obviously flawed or dysfunctional implemented only to be changed later for content. Changed, improved later for content. I feel like these are the 2 most important things. Yeah, like straight up, like these are the 2 most important things. Do not make content, like, yeah, no energy systems. I don't want to say no energy systems, because I don't know, maybe it would work in some circumstances. But, like, I think this is it. No borrowed power? No, that doesn't matter. That's completely irrelevant. No pay to win? That's a loaded question. Everybody's going to say to pay to win. Oh, it's not pay to win, it's pay to progress, or it's paid for convenience. Like, I don't want to get into that. It's not relevant. But let's see here. Not want. What features do you not want to see? Systems that are obviously flawed or dysfunctional, implemented only to be changed later, changed or improved later, for content. Let's see here. Mythic flex rating, I don't care about that. None of Riot games are pay to win. Yeah, it's just, that's not a big deal. Gender lock, I don't care about that much. They're not going to make number, like, warriors, you know, like, female only. So it's, I mean, probably not. So I don't need to worry about that. Character-specific progress, I want to be able to make progress on one character and have it be mostly, at least account-wide. I think that's fair to say that. Yeah, for sure. Far dysfunctionally implemented. Yeah, arbitrary time gating. I don't really care about arbitrary time gating because like everything is arbitrary to some extent. No honing. I don't think honing is a problem. It's how you get the materials for honing. Item repair. Nobody cares about that. Extreme repetitive content, like running the same dungeon 50 times. I don't think that's a big deal either. It depends on what you're running it for. But let's see here. RNG progression. Every MMO is RNG progression. That's completely irrelevant. Let's see what else. No ability to gain items is free to play. I don't think that one's as important either. Mandatory daily quests. How about trashing a system in favor of another one each expansion? No, that's just, that's WoW. It's things you don't want, so number one doesn't make sense. Okay, all right, I will change it. Character-specific progress. Character-specific progress instead of account-wide progress. Okay, is that better? I think that's a better way to say it. What do you guys think? Is that okay? Then after this, like, just give me a few minutes. I'm going to talk about that. Then I'll go in. I'll look at this too. But I want to finish this up right now because it is kind of important to give feedback early on. No furry races. I don't care about that. It doesn't matter. And lack of acid. Well, I mean, I'm not going to change it again. What I already wrote is fine. Well, let's see here. A family system, all characters in the same guild. I don't care about that. Doesn't matter. No borrowed power. I feel like people are not thinking, like, people are thinking about these, like, little small things. Like, I don't give a shit about half of these things that people are bringing up. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, a boob slider? Like, who cares about a boob slider? Just make their boobs big by default, and then you don't need a slider anyway. It's already fixed. Yeah, no problem. Downgrading and crafting, backwards progression. You're right. Yeah, 3 things. 3 things. Okay. Number 3, backwards progression. Yeah, backwards progression, losing items, experience. Yeah, I think that's fair. What do you guys think about this? Yeah, don't design. Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. Reforging stats, nobody cares about that. That's just derivative of WoW. Let's see here. There's a few more of these I'm going to read. And so you don't want account-wide progress? No, I would say, what do you not want to see? Character specific instead of account wide. So I don't want to see character specific instead of account wide, which would apply that I would want account wide. Yes, I think that what I said makes perfect sense. Anyway, let's see here. Mokoko seeds. No, we need those. Those are good. Mokoko seeds make areas and all dungeons relevant. Doesn't really matter that much. That's not a big deal. Non-customable UI. No direct way of purchasing in-game currency. I feel like that doesn't matter. Like, if they want to make the game pay to win, they will make the game pay to win. Like, and to be honest with you, the people that make that kind of a decision are not Ghostcrawler. That's the truth, right? This is going to be like the business unit that decides, like the accounting unit that decides if it's going to be able to make enough money or not. So, like, Ghostcrawler doesn't even make this decision. So you can complain as much as you want about pay to win, but, like, the truth is that, like, we've seen number 4 more garlic. Okay. We've seen so many games now, like Genshin Impact, Lost Ark, a lot of these games be successful with semi or mostly pay to win features. And WoW is pay to win too, because you have the WoW token. And so a lot of games are going to have this stuff in it. No arbitrary daily limit. I don't think that's I don't think dailies are bad. I actually do not think dailies are bad, and I've always felt that way. I don't think dailies are bad. I think that FOMO is bad, and it depends on how it's designed. Yeah, dailies. The thing is, a lot of people think that dailies are bad, but dailies get people to log in all the time. Like, that's just, that's what it does. Like, they're not going to not have dailies. Like, every game now has dailies because they work. That's just what makes sense. Add FOMO to the list? Well, I don't think that, again, like, there are certain circumstances. Like, what I'm looking at here is that these are 3 things that are never good. Like, character-specific progress on end-game. Like, I mean, this is, like, also one that's sometimes okay, too, like, with gear. But, like, especially number 2 and number 3. I never want to make backwards progression, and I never want to have systems implemented that are obviously fucking broken. I think both of these are totally fucking fair, guys. Yeah, what do you think? being forced into world PvP. They're not going to do that. No new game. Any game that forces people into world PvP is just going to be dead on arrival. Like, nobody wants to do that anymore. That's like something from like the 2000s. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen anymore. Okay, I'm gonna tweet this one out, and I'm gonna look at what everybody else said. Okay, guys, we're gonna click yes, and there it is. The tweet has been tweeted. Okay, let's see what other people had to say about this too. An abundance of mechanics that stalemate PvP matches. Other words, designing damage to feel lethal and exciting in variable moments, not just in the peaks and valleys of cooldown windows. Are you okay with abilities work differently in PvP and PvE? I think that they have to. Yeah, I think that they have to. If you want to make PvP good, you can't have people use the same abilities that they do in PvE. Like, it's just like, it's not going to work. Give me a second. Let me look at the rest of this. No gameplay defining or power defining item drops. They're completely random with zero backup or RNG protection. It depends on completely random. Is completely random 20% and you can do it once a day? Or is completely random 1% and you can do it once a week? I think those things are very, very different. Let's see here. Oh, this is a person who's blocked me. Okay, I can't see that one. Let's see here. No daily login rewards. Yeah, I don't think daily login rewards are that big of a deal. I think that what Lost Ark is actually the best way to handle daily login rewards is that you can log into Lost Ark and you can catch up on what you've done, like what you didn't do the next day, right? Because you have rested bonuses and stuff like that. I'd like to see more rested bonuses and things similar to that. Recolors amounts just to artificially increase the amount of collectibles? No, I don't think that's a bad thing fundamentally. It depends on how they're implemented into the game. Did I stop playing Lost Ark completely? No, I didn't. I didn't play Lost Ark yesterday, but every other day I played the game. Yeah, I play Lost Ark pretty much every day. Let's see here. More major barriers into getting into content. I don't mean there's a quest line, gear you need to do, large checklists. So like attunements. People don't like attunements. I think attunements are okay if they're account-wide. Like, if attunements are account-wide and they would be part of the natural progression your character would go through in order to get ready to do that content, such as things like the Karazhan attunement, I think is great. Because, like, the Karazhan attunement, you would naturally go through the heroic dungeons to do the Karazhan attunement. And I think that's totally fine because it tells a story and it gives you an idea of what's going on. But I think that everything should be account-wide because I would just never do Karazhan attunement twice. Like, I'm just not going to do that. It's not fun for me. It's just like I already did this once. I don't want to do it again. Why award being AFK? Because it makes people feel like they don't have as much pressure on them to play the game constantly, and I think that makes the game worse because of it. That's why mindless grinding. So you want grinding that requires your undivided attention. Got it. I completely disagree with this. I think mindless grinding is totally fine. Things like Chaos Dungeons, things like running around and collecting chests in Zereth Mortis. I think these things are totally fucking fine. There are a lot of people out there who don't like that kind of stuff, and I understand that. But for me, I'm totally okay with it, and I think that it's generally a good thing. It adds in a lot of content to the game, and it's just something for people to do. I think that's ultimately what it is. Yeah, it's relaxed, not mindless. Yeah, I feel like it's bad whenever you have to do it. I think there should be grinds that are optional. Whenever you have to do mindless grinds constantly, like every day or every week, that's whenever it gets to be bad. Another person who's blocked me. Let's see here. Time-consuming progression, that feeling of if I don't log in today, I'll fall behind everybody else. Yeah, I think so. That's why you need a rested system or something like that. Might be controversial, instantaneous travel wherever. I think part of the immersion in MMOs is really exploring the world and meeting players, but traveling across the world at a decent pace, but not instantaneously, would be all right in my opinion. So, this is a person who never played New World. So, yeah, you never played New World. It just wasn't fun. Like, these are things that feel, and it's like, this is like, oh, this theoretically sounds like a good idea that you're out in the world and, you know, you're exploring, etc. But whenever you actually play the game, you realize that it's just running from point A to point B, and it just wastes more of your time. New World just did it badly. It's a shit game overall. Yeah, and guess what? They made the game better whenever they got rid of that problem. Traveling in BDO is fun. It's also auto run. Like, you just auto run in BDO. Like, I don't know, man. It takes forever to run somewhere. Yeah. I don't find any value, and I don't think there's anything good about having a long travel time between moving from point A to point B. It's just simply a waste of time. Like, yes, you should have to do it a couple of times whenever you're first beginning the game so you can get the lay of the land, absolutely. But whenever you're on time number 35, running back and forth, this is not something that makes the game better. It's just not. And so it's fun if you have a legendary horse? Yeah, maybe. And let's see here. You didn't say long travel? Well, instantaneous travel wherever. I mean, let me ask you this. Do you think the triport system in Lost Ark makes the game worse? Because I don't think that it does. I think that all of the problems and like nothing. Yes, it does not. So this is, again, there are a lot of older MMORPG players that are looking for something that they got. Like, we've had games that had this, right? Like for example, Shadowlands. Like, it takes longer to go from point A to point B in Shadowlands than it did for other areas, and it's just a waste of time. Like, I don't like having my time wasted in the game, and I don't want to deal with it. Like in Final Fantasy, exploring the world and you discover Aetherites? Yeah, but you can teleport to other places in Final Fantasy too. All right, let's look at some more of these. Stupendous amount of dailies and time gating. Throughput-based performance being determined by how much of DPS is done for content designed to test player skills. Wait, what? Throughput-based performance. Success being determined by how much of DPS and healing is done for... Wait, so this guy doesn't want to have to be able to push his buttons? What the fuck are you talking about? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is so stupid. Like, it's just, that's... Yeah, other way? No, that's not what it is at all. That's an ex-dev. Who is this person? Game design, Guild Wars 1 and 2. I don't know. I haven't played Guild Wars, so I'm not really sure. But I think, you mean skill is greater than gear? Though there should be some gear requirements, and also skill you could very easily say is your ability to do damage. I think that there should be gear progression, because if gear doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter to get the gear. It's kind of like in Classic WoW. Like, you never needed gear in Classic WoW because the raids were so easy, and I think that made the game worse. Yeah, I do. I think that made the game worse, absolutely. No dailies, no weeklies, no quest hubs. What does an RPG look like without quest hubs? Yeah. Like, any MMO prior to WoW. You mean all the bad ones that nobody plays anymore? Look at Elden Ring for non-MMO reference. They have round table hold. There are quest hubs there. And also, quests are not part of the game. All quests are completely optional side content. Oh my god. What did Shroud say? Did I see Shroud say something? Yeah, I'm not saying... Oh, there it is. Leveling? Oh, wow. Wow. He says he doesn't even want to have to level? That's big dick. That's a big take. Here's my opinion. I think that what he's saying has an element of truth to it, but I think the real problem with leveling is having to do it twice. I think that it's okay, because Shroud probably was okay with leveling in Lost Ark. It was fine. But, like, having to level alts. Like, I think having to level once is totally fine because it teaches you the story. And I do think that, like, yes, maybe for Shroud because he's a power gamer, right? He's a power gamer. So, like, it doesn't matter to him what the story is. He probably doesn't even know who CatDany is, and his item level is higher than mine in Lost Ark. He doesn't give a fuck because he's a power gamer. He's an alpha power Giga Chad gamer. But there are a lot of people out there who do care about the story, and I think that whenever you engage them in the story and you make it a little bit more interesting, it does add value and context to the game, and it does make it better too. Yeah, absolutely. So let's see here. Any systems that are similar to those BFA? Yeah, I saw that. Not having your account progress be account-wide, very true. It's a lot better whenever you feel like you're leveling your account and all your characters benefit from your efforts. Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Trickle-down content, time-gating content. Can you define trickle-down content? Yeah, nobody knows. I agree in theory, but what do you want? But what do you... But what do you do when you... Oh, what do you do? When you ask a friend to join and they're 30 minutes of travel away. Teleports from... Yeah, what do you do? I want to see what the responses to this are. I think WoW did a good job with teleports to major cities, but still needing to be on a flight path. Being able to teleport everywhere basically makes the large world feel very small. Maybe allow friends to teleport to each other. Possible to have two paths. Here's my opinion. Let people teleport around the world to fixed locations. Don't let people teleport to any X, Y, or Z coordinate in the entire map instantaneously with no cooldown. But have there be places where you can teleport around. Having to spend more than, I think, like 5 to 10 minutes traveling somewhere is like, that's the fun factor is like this. Woo! Like, it's no longer fun. It's a waste of time. People don't want to deal with it. Yes, it's like triports or something like that. I think that's totally okay. And I'll read the rest of this stuff. And this is about the new Riot MMO, so we do want to talk about this. Not going to name names, but I love every comment here is about ones not in Azeroth. Worked in the game 7 years, at least have some perspective on why we made the calls that we did. NFTs plus blockchain bullshit. I think that's something that a lot of people don't want to see. Let's go ahead and give that one a like. Time-gated content. I feel like this is, again, I find that a lot of these types of things, time-gated content exists in all MMOs, and I think that there are some level of time gating that's okay, like being able to only do a raid once a week or something like that. I think that's good, but some level of time gating is just too much. Like, you can't progress on certain systems unless you do it, you know, like once every day, etc. So it really depends. Lost Ark failed at teleporting. You need more silver just to get from one place to another, just to get your final destination. Such a waste of time. Yeah, well, they just do that in order to incentivize buying the crystalline aura. I think that's what it is. Let's see here. Okay, this is somebody who blocked me, and they said, you're always going transmog and make up the word. I think they should have transmog and skins in the game. Like, you have to have skins and transmog in the game, but I think skins and transmog in the game should denote some level of skill or ability in the game. Like, you shouldn't have transmog and skins in the game. There's a lot of people in the MMO community that don't like me. They don't like what I say. They don't like how I look. They don't like how I live. They don't like how I say what I say. They don't like anything about me. And I'm just used to that at this point. It's not anything crazy or new or different or weird. That's just my life. Okay, that's it. You smell. Yes, I do. Actually, I don't. I never smell that. Okay, let's see here. Needing a new character for every class, how is that a bad thing? I don't think this is a big deal as long as the barrier to entry isn't that large. Let's see here. In-game advertising pop-ups, I think yes, very, very fucking true. I totally agree with, what the fuck is his name? I forgot the guy's name from Game of Thrones, but you know, Tormund, yep, there we go. You know exactly what I mean, yep. I agree with Tormund here, absolutely. Progression systems where the end game feels like constant grinding of one task. It would make me feel like I want to bot it instead of doing it myself. Yeah, I think that's true too. Fast travel and globally available storage are two things that, while nice, take some fun out of the game for me personally. So I really hope that that Greg doesn't listen to people like this. I think this guy's a fucking moron. I think that, like, yes, global travel is bad and global storage is bad. Are you playing New World? I bet you're not. It's just dog shit. Like, it's something, again, that these morons that are fucking 30 years old and are trying to relive their glory days playing Ultima Online in middle school keep trying to fucking put into these games, and they make them worse. They were shit then, and they were shit now. Yeah, he's playing BDO? I don't know. They just reverted? Yeah, they got rid of it. Exactly. New World doesn't have mounts? Yeah, exactly. Opinion equals moron? Yeah. Yeah, I think his opinion is a moron opinion. That's right. I think he's a fucking idiot. I think every game that implements things like this, where they restrict things for the nature of restricting them in order to achieve some arbitrary goal that's completely undefinable and is in general not in the best interest of average players, yes, I think that it makes the game worse. Absolutely. Yeah, 100% man. Have you seen Lost Ark player count? Yeah, I'm going to look at that. I'm going to watch the video about that in just a few minutes, but I wanted to talk about this first. Yeah, 100%. Horse opinions can be moronic. Absolutely. What's wrong with that? Let's teleport everyone, get summoned all bosses, insta, make everything instance. It's better for Zoomers these days. That's why WoW sucks. Shut up. Final Fantasy is great, and Final Fantasy has that. This does not exist on the spectrum of a good game. Yeah, you're just stupid. Like, you're just fucking stupid, and you have no, like, there's literally no evidence for what you're saying. Like, there's evidence that it's not true because you have to run to fucking each arena in what's it called, New World. That's fucking awful. Having to run to the dungeons in Classic WoW is fucking annoying as well. That's why everybody had a warlock paying gold with these warlock bot summoning farms that they had used, which is fucking stupid as well. On top of that, you have plenty of other features in the game that are equally fucking dumb. Then you have Final Fantasy, you click a button, you go to the boss. And guess what? I bet that didn't make the game any easier for you. You probably haven't cleared anything on Savage. Fuck, hardly even I have. But it doesn't matter. A real raid. Oh, this is what it's really like. This is a real MMO. Get the fuck out of here. You have no idea what you're talking about. These things are just... These are stupid, time-wasting things that people who their biggest skill isn't skill, it's time. These are people who want to be able to invest 500 hours and beat the guy who invests 200 hours. And I think that should be true to an extent, but it should be true to an extent of maybe 30% gear and 70% skill. I am sick of these fucking morons trying to take over MMORPGs and say, I want to spend all day on the game and be better than everybody else because I'm fucking garbage at being able to play it, and I need the game to increase handicaps for me because I can invest more time than other people. It is so fucking boring. It's awful. I'm so tired of seeing this. And it's just not fun either. It's not fun because it creates pressure in the community that everybody has to play this amount of time or they're not keeping up. It creates this weird fucking expectation culture. It's not helpful to anybody. So yes, allow people to travel around to generally anywhere you want. Allow people to store their items wherever they want and have storage be accessible wherever they want it to be accessible. Why? Because it just simply makes the game easier and it reduces friction that's unnecessary. Yes, some friction makes things sound better and it makes them feel better, but you're also not gonna fucking, you don't want to have your dick sucked by sandpaper either. And these are sandpaper dick sucker strategies for MMOs, and I don't want to put my dick in there. That's the facts. Am I right? That's what I think. Tweet what you just said? No, it's too big. It won't fit. Yeah, it won't fit. I'm so sick of this shit. Like, stop being so emotional about it. The reason why I'm being emotional about it is because I play video games all fucking day. Yes, it's just a game. Yes, who really gives a fuck? It doesn't really matter. However, I don't know if you know this, but this is a show, and we like to have a little bit of entertainment. Here's the facts. These things kill games. They killed New World. This stuff killed WoW. Oh, covenants. Remember back whenever MMOs and RPGs had meaningful choice, and choices that you made locked you out of options, and it was really changing the game, and it was dynamic. Remember that back in 1999? Oh my god, I can't wait to play King's Quest again and get killed by something that didn't hit my character, but it's so badly fucking coded, it's not gonna work. Oh good, I'm in the fucking desert again. I can't find the oasis. I'm dying. Oh my god. What the fuck do you remember? You don't even remember this shit. It's so bad. The good times. Oh yeah, those were the good times. They weren't. They were shit. They were shit. They were only the good times because you were young. You're not playing that game anymore. And you're not playing games like that anymore. The fact is you don't enjoy these things because you're lazy? Yes, you're right. I am lazy. Do you know why I'm lazy? Because it's a fucking video game. I don't want to have my time wasted by a video game. I want to, like, I play video games to overcome challenges. What do you think, I'm fucking lazy because I don't like the run back for Sir Alone in Dark Souls 2? Fuck no, Sir Alone is a joke boss with 5 mechanics. Meanwhile, Ishin is infinitely fucking harder, and it's a million times of a better boss. And what do you do to get to Ishin? You just walk over to him. Oh, Blue Smelter Demon. Wow, what a hard boss. No, he's not. It's the same fucking boss. It's just that now he's blue. But there's a million mobs that are gonna hit you on the way over, so, oh wow, look at that. It's difficulty. That is not difficulty. That is dog shit. And I am sick of dog shit. God forbid people remember good memories. I don't care what they remember. I care what they want to re-implement. Yes, it's just people have no fucking idea what you guys are, what they're talking about, man. No more dog shit. Stop slandering Ultima Online. What I'm saying is games like that, sure, maybe Ultima Online was the greatest game ever. You see what I'm saying? Teleport everywhere is a terrible idea. Makes the game world tiny. It needs some middle ground. I don't really think so entirely. I think that, like, maybe to an extent, in my opinion, you know why I think games are tiny? I actually think that it has nothing to do with teleportation, and it has everything to do with the size of the servers and how many players the server can accommodate. Because the truth is that if you're playing World of Warcraft and there's no phasing, there are people everywhere, and it's fucking awesome. But you're phased, and everybody is in their own private version of Red Ridge Mountains. You might as well just turn it into a fucking garrison. Elden Ring is huge, and there's teleports per minute. Well, yes, look at Elden Ring. Elden Ring, you can teleport wherever you want, whenever you want to do that. Not wherever you want, but pretty much wherever you want with the little teleporty things. Yeah, it's such bullshit. Like, people have no idea. There's like literally, there's not only are there no bits of evidence that show that this is a positive, but there is infinitely more evidence that shows that it's a negative. Let's read a few more of these, okay? Universal storage mount in Elden Ring with storage chest locations. Yeah, it would be dog shit. Absolute fucking trash. All right, let's see here. Not sure if this counts, but gear creep, where your top tier gear becomes obsolete for shiny new stuff in the next expansion. I agree with this. I think that there should be overlap. I thought it was really cool how at the beginning of Burning Crusade, I could still use my tier 3 gear. I love that. I thought that was one of the coolest things about vanilla to Burning Crusade. I thought that was really, really cool. Okay, let's see here. And what's this over here? Gender-locked classes. We are in 2022. Can we move past this? Thank God he had to remind me about what year it is in order to make his argument more strong. I don't really care about gender-locked classes that much. It's not a big deal. I play a witch, and Path of Exile is an incredible game that is on the cutting edge of ARPGs in the year 2022, and it has gender-locked classes. I don't think this really matters, but as a smaller thing, yes, I would prefer to not have them. I agree with you, but I just don't like your argument. Let's see here. Raiding is the only means of doing anything worthwhile in the game. That is true. I completely agree with you. Separation between PvP and PvP content. Serious answer. No escort quests, especially no escort quests where I have to walk backwards to keep pace with the NPC who just seems to have a giant kill me now target taped onto their back. I have no problem with escort quests as long as they're fun to do. That's all there is to it. Like, I don't think escort quests are always bad. I think that they can be good and they're okay. Why do you want to play Ashes of Creation since it doesn't have fast travel? Well, because there's a lot of other things that are good about it instead. It's the same as like New World. I played New World that didn't have fast travel as much, and I still thought it was a good game. And also, like, it depends. Like, I think that a lot of games have ideas that they think are going to be good, and then whenever the player base interacts with the idea, they realize that the idea was bad. Gotcha, Andy. Yeah, I probably should have perm-banned him for that as a gotcha, Andy. But, like, I just don't really give a shit. And I want to say that, like, again, any argument that people can give me about this stuff, I can immediately refute your argument with, like, 5 different fucking examples. Dragonflight was doing good with allowing flight from the start. Yes. I said this before the expansion was announced. I thought that they should allow flying from the start because it will make the game more interesting. Yes. Where's the next unpopular opinion? The travel to dungeons can be a pain in the ass, but at the same time, those long flight paths allow for time to walk away from the computer, take a bio, or check on people in my house. I mean, I'd rather that be optional and not mandatory, though. Like, what if I don't want to check on them? What do I do then? You know what I mean? Like, that's, yeah, I don't want that to be mandatory. House wellness check? Yeah, exactly. When New World removed a lot of the friction bullshit, teleport costs, implement golden storage. Yeah, I think this is it. When New World, and this is an observable fact. When New World removed a lot of the friction bullshit, such as teleport costs and implemented global storage, they finally stopped losing players. That's a fact. And there are numbers that prove that. Ain't that something? Ain't that just a little bit of something? You want teleportation to every zone? Every zone, I mean, like, I never want to say every zone, everything, because we don't really know what the scope of that is. But I think teleportation in general is a good thing. And I don't think that travel time should be a big factor for any of this stuff. It's annoying. Read replies under your tweet. Yeah, I'll look at after this. No NFTs, loot boxes, or anything outside of cosmetics in the shop. Yeah, okay, so that's not going to happen. Let's see what else besides that. Gotcha, very RNG equipments and gear sets. I don't mean like guaranteed drops. I mean like somebody you can get set a goal for a drop. Yeah, like Final Fantasy has. Yeah, they do a very good job of that. Let's see here. Okay, we're going to go through the round of this. Can you play some real music? I like this song. It's nice. I'd like for new players to not be overwhelmed by a ton of systems they have to learn right off the bat. I think that most of the times that doesn't really happen. Borrowed power. What a stupid fucking comment. What a stupid fucking comment. Like, I'm so tired of seeing these. It's just... Borrowed power. This is not... This is a wow Andy comment. Like, stop. Disagree equals stupid? Yes, because I know what I'm talking about. Absolutely. Disagree equals stupid. Yes, completely right. Definitely right. Not wrong, though. Check the profile. Final Fantasy Logs mod. I have no idea. Let's see here. Walk 10 miles to talk to an NPC. Now go back to where you came from again. Another delivery quest. Yeah, I think shortening up quest lines is important, too. For sure. Okay, let's go back. I'll look at the comments to mine, okay? Give me 1 second. Okay. Let me just scroll down real quick and just make sure there's nothing that's TOS, okay? Okay, yeah, we should be fine. Okay, so these are the replies to mine, okay? Agree to this. These are the things that would make me want to play an MMO more. He said without bashing other games. I feel like this is not like bashing other games. This is something... Character-specific progress is something that's a problem in World of Warcraft. Systems that are implemented that are bad is a problem in Warcraft, Lost Ark, and also New World. Backwards progression is a problem that exists in BDO and also Path of Exile. So yeah, I think that's what it is. Sarcasm? Yeah, I guess he might be joking. I don't know. It's hard for me to say. With MMO players, I don't really ever expect sarcasm. Let's see here. I'll read the rest of these too. Creating an insane amount of mindless content to artificially increase playtime with zero respect to the player's time. I understand content droughts on some games make quality repeatable game modes like PvP, or let players take some time off of the game until the next update. Yeah, I think that's fair. It's very off-putting to be strong-armed into spending time because of some arbitrary boundary just cause. Why not play a game where one can get value for one's time for both casual and less casual players? Well, the reason why is because people are chasing a dragon that stopped existing 10 years ago. That's why. That's the whole reason, and that's the whole point of it happening. Let me see here. When are you going to play my game? Final Fantasy XIV, sad. Soon, man. Too many nonsensical currencies. Boob slider win. True. Time gating, corpse runs, and FOMO. I think corpse runs aren't really that useful. Corpse runs do not make the game better, and I would say in general case, they would make the game worse. Open world PvP is a bad take. No well-funded company has taken a shot at something like Darkfall in the last 15 years. Please, company with money, make Darkfall-like game soon. Please don't say rebuttal with Mortal Online. The PvP is absolutely shit. Nobody wants to play a game where other people have control over their progression. That's fundamentally what it is. I don't know what Darkfall is, I have no idea. But open world PvP is trash. And the reason why it's trash is because the people that want open world PvP are the ones who are too shitty at the game to engage in arena PvP. Most of the time, it's the same thing as people that like twinking, and it's the same thing to people that like other stuff like that. They are the real Care Bears, because the people that are actually just not wanting to participate, at least they don't have an ego that tells them that they have to rationalize why they're not doing it. These are the people who, they only want unfair fights. They want to face people in a non-consensual way because it will increase the chances of them succeeding. It's cringe as fuck. It is absolutely cringe as fuck. Nobody wants to deal with this anymore, and I think an average player, like, think about it, like, this is what happened in Classic WoW. You can make an argument and say that this makes a more interesting game, and we can argue about what's interesting and what's not interesting forever. But what you cannot say is that this did not kill Classic WoW servers. As soon as Phase 2 came out, it killed the servers for like 10 or 20 different servers. It pushed the population imbalance directly in one direction or another direction. Player numbers went down drastically, and it was horrible. Why is that? It's because people don't want to log on and have another player have control over the way that they play the game on a very fundamental level. And the reason why is that the players that seek control over other players are generally doing it for shitty reasons. This is just what happened. Turn off war mode? Yes, yeah, you should have something like war mode. War mode is a good feature. I think that's what it should be. Just play a single player game then? Well, no, just compete in normal PvP then against people that want to actually play against you rather than trying to hunt down people that don't want to do it so you can build up your ego. Like, why does everybody else have to change? Why don't you just play actual PvP? Play actual PvP. Quit trying to rely on having to kill people that aren't trying. It's pussy shit. That's why there's PvP servers. I think if they wanted to make a PvP server, that's totally fucking fine. Yeah, because people can play on that as in general, right? Yeah, sure. That's totally okay. What about opt-in open world PvP? I think that's a great idea. Yeah, that's a great idea. Then just don't play a game if you don't want open world hard. Yeah. Just don't play the game if you don't want open world hardcore PvP. There's only two options. You have to have open world hardcore world PvP, or you can't play multiplayer games. This is your brain. This is the brain of the people that like this kind of content. They're just stupid. Let's see here. On PvP server, you can point out PvP. You get removed off the server. Well, yeah, you can transfer. And that's a pretty easy solution. Playing different games to bullshit mentality. We're trying to not kill the games we love here. Yeah, exactly. It's such a bad way to look at things. Open world PvP is fine if there's clan wars and stuff like that, like Lineage 2. Yeah, how many people are playing Lineage 2 nowadays? It's just not gonna... again, guys, like, it's just... like, 2 people are playing the game. Like, really, like, these systems are just... It doesn't work the same way as it used to, guys. Like, it's not the same thing. People aren't looking for the same things. Gaming as an audience has diversified so much that many people don't want to deal with content like that. Like, no, people do not want to deal with content like this. Like, it's just not going to be fun. Like, it's like the same thing happened in Timeless Isle, in Mists of Pandaria, and that's why Blizzard never did the bloody coin thing again. Because nobody, like, it was like, yeah, it was fun for me. It was fucking great. I had best in slot gear. But imagine if you don't. Why would you want to log on? Like, for example, like, think about it like this, right? Is you would log on, and this is like, you know, your first introduction into the game or whatever, like that. And you're trying to do you've got, like, let's say an hour and a half to play the game, and you have somebody that just keeps killing you, so you can't make any progress on your character. This isn't fun. Why do you want to do this? This isn't fun. This is not fun. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, it's just not, like, yeah, I don't want to do this. Like, fuck this. Like, yeah, you just play something else. Like, why would you do this if you could just do something else instead? Why would anybody willingly do that? Why should be optimistic about Ashley creation? 500 versus 500 PvP sounds awful. Well, because it's a siege. I mean, that's totally different than, like, random world PvP, right? Nostalgia Andy's the reason why MMOs didn't evolve for years and almost killed the genre. Yeah, exactly. I think so, too. And the person doing it just wants to be a dick. Well, they want to have control over people. That's what it is. Let's see here. BDO is a similar system to Lineage 2, and those people like it. The game is doing well. BDO is doing well. This is the wrong game. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really, it's got 18,000, it's got less people playing it than New World. I mean, I don't think this is not a good metric for success, is it? Yeah, nobody plays it on Steam. Yeah, I'm sure there's millions of people that are playing it off Steam. Sure, that's what I'm saying. Random world PvP causes toxic behavior. Someone gets farmed, then they gear up and farm new players, so it hurts the ability for the game to grow. You lock in your audience and make it hard for new players to join. Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is. People that are trying to take control of the development of certain games by blindly parroting something they've heard and being loud about is a problem too. Oh yeah, of course, right? And that's what I was saying about the borrowed power and more things like this. I'll read a few more of these comments and then I want to move on, watch that last video, and then we'll probably do some mount runs or something like that. Let's see here. For your time invested to matter at a power and progression cosmetic level. Appeasing casual players is important, but I want my time invested to be reflected in an MMO and be able to stand out if I for some reason play 24/7. I think that there should be a limit to things like this, because if you can just keep playing constantly and just continue building up momentum and stuff like that, I think that's too much. I think that you should be able to do that to an extent, and then it's just going to be too much. Because if you're able to just continue doing this more and more and more, I feel like what's going to end up happening is that people feel like there's no reason for them to continue like grinding or whatever, because they can never catch up. Yeah, and more bots too. Let's see here. Leveling, so you don't want to gain power at all. You just want the game to start an endgame. Did he respond to anything that I said? Did he respond to my tweet? No, he didn't. Okay, I'm assuming that's probably because he agreed with it. Okay, let's see here. Endless grinding and PoE is fine? No. Well, it's not really endless grinding because the game is different. Like, you can't apply a rule. Like, I think that you can to an extent, but I think this isn't really a good way to say it, is that grinding and PoE, you do hit a plateau. You absolutely do. PoE sucks. And also, like, PoE is very goal-oriented. Watch this take. I'm personally not interested in yet another theme park where leveling is, where the leveling process is a means to getting to end game, where the game starts and you run around doing whatever the devs designed to be end game. I think OSRS did it best. Other games like EVE Online do it differently too. Reaching level cap in these games is not a goal for most players. There's so much life and diversity of goals apart from level cap that it feels like a whole new world. I feel like leveling should be treated as a tutorial. Like, I think it should be treated as a tutorial that you play the game when, and that's what I think they should do. Yeah, make leveling effectively a tutorial. And yeah, it's kind of like in Lost Ark or like Final Fantasy, it tells the whole story. That's what I think it should be good. Yeah, 50 to 60 Lost Ark leveling is in game. Yeah, exactly. And like introduce mechanics. No, God, that's miserable. Lost Ark 100-hour tutorial. Well, I think you should do it once so you can understand the game. Yeah. Like, I think throwing somebody, for example, I find it to be a bad new player experience to throw somebody on a max level character and then tell them, hey, it's time for you to do end game content whenever you have no fucking frame of reference of how the game's played. I think that's awful. Let's see here. First thing I disagree with, leveling should be a journey on its own, not a long-ass tutorial. Yeah, that's bullshit. That should be a journey. These are like more of these emotionally charged nostalgia words that really just don't mean anything. Yeah, that's just not, like, this is just not true. And like, yeah, this is a classic Andy. This is a classic Andy. P-Walk, thanks for the 5 subs. I appreciate that. This is a classic Andy who probably bought Maraudon boosts. That's what pretty much everybody did. But if it needs to be a journey, your game is trash. No, I don't think so at all. I think leveling for like the way Final Fantasy is designed, for the way that I think even WoW is designed, I think is okay. Or Lost Ark. I think all of those are totally fucking fine. Yeah, the leveling system for that in general is totally okay. Show me where the classic player touched you. Sure, I'll show you. Let me show you exactly where it affected me. This game got killed because fucking classic Andys were too goddamn stupid to understand the way the game works. And you had a bunch of fucking displaced classic Andys trying to seek some fucking former glory that they had back whenever they were in high school 15 years ago. And this is what happened. This game got fucking strangled to death by these nostalgia clowns. Thank God they're learning from it. The game died because of terrible devs, you fool? It was both. There was not just one thing. Yeah, if you honestly think how many people here, very easy. How many people in that played New World quit the game because they were sick of having to run around all day? How many people quit the game because they're just sick of having to run to point A to point B? Me. Yeah, a lot of you guys. Oh, well, we want traveling to matter. Oh, we want it to feel like you're really out in the world. Oh, we want it to feel like, yeah, sure, okay? Running simulator, exactly. It wasn't the only reason, but it was a big reason. Let's read all through down these again, and then after that, I want to watch this last video, okay, guys? Hard disagree. You have to realize that an MMO base is diverse, as you said. Your take on PvP would destroy WoW if implemented. You're just a PvE Andy now. My take on PvP would destroy WoW if it was implemented. Well, it didn't. It didn't. Yep. Yeah, it's just what it, yeah, again, like they just don't. A lot of people that play MMOs, like I'm gonna be honest with you guys, a lot of the people that try to hold on to these old ideas are just stupid. They're just stupid, and you can tell that they're stupid by how they structure their arguments. They structure their arguments with obviously disprovable information, and the only reason that they think like that is because they're stupid. That's all there is to it. If you just understand it based off of that, and you just assume that, everything else makes a lot more sense. Being stupid today, not people who think differently? That's right, of course. And so why do you think Final Fantasy, which is one of the most successful MMOs that's ever been made at this point, why do you think that Final Fantasy has implemented every single thing that I've said? So yeah, what's this here? I can't disprove it, so it's stupid? That's not a great argument? Well, I can easily disprove it. I think that leveling in Classic WoW clearly shows that players don't actually care about leveling anymore based off of the fact that every single person that was leveling in Classic WoW bought a boost. As soon as they got rid of boosting in Season of Mastery, the game died because people didn't want to have to level again. How about that? So, it's just, I mean, yeah, next, let's move on. The reason why I don't want to, the thing is, just because you have a stupid argument, and I don't want to explain why you're wrong, that doesn't mean you're right. That just means that I don't want to spend my time explaining to you why you're wrong. That's all. That's all it is. Yes, I don't have to sit down and like, you're wrong? Yes, okay, all right, let's get some actual evidence here. Yeah, let's get some evidence here. Soul of Iron made it more fun though? Yeah, I'm sure dozens of people enjoyed it. What's the rest of this? It means you already explained it before? Yes, I've explained it many times before, okay? I have a druid sitting at 54 for months, and I refuse to level to 60. Or 70, yes, exactly. Where's the rest of these? Final Fantasy is good because the market quality and the quality of MMO games is so goddamn low nowadays. Not because Final Fantasy is a great game, because it compares itself with now bad games. That's why nobody heard of Final Fantasy 2 to 3 years ago and nobody cared. So I think that's wrong. I think that Final Fantasy does have an S-tier story that exists subjectively as a good story, regardless of what year it is. I think that the story can stand on its own 2 feet, and it's totally fine. I think also the raids are incredibly well designed, although to a certain degree they are very choreographed and they don't have as much variability as certain other fights in other games. So I think that's wrong too. The other factor is the fact that these are not, and also like, doesn't that kind of prove my point? That all of these games are bad now because these games are adhering to antiquated ideas? And Final Fantasy is only good because it's not adhering to the antiquated ideas? So like, aren't you kind of saying what I'm saying? Let me read through a few more of these, okay? I've leveled through questing and leveled through getting boosted. I regretted the boost and I felt completely unattached to the character compared to the hand-leveled one. I think that means something, no? Well, I don't know. I think that it depends on what you're gonna do next time. And also, I feel generally the same way, but I also don't think that you should make leveling this massive journey. Like here, listen, there's a big part of me. I will give the nostalgia Andes a bone. I would love if Blizzard came out tomorrow and they said, you thought the level cap in Dragonflight was 70? Psych, that's the wrong number. It's 200. And it's going to take you 3 months to level up if you're playing the game 12 hours a day. And it's an entirely new continent, the same size as Eastern Kingdoms. I would be so fucking hyped for that. And I'm sure dozens of other people would too. But the fact is that games are not designed like that anymore. They're not. It's not going to happen. People are way too end-game oriented nowadays. People play games differently. And to deny that, it's like going outside. Well, I don't believe in rain. Well, if you go outside without an umbrella, you're still going to get wet. Even if you don't believe in rain. Okay? That's why they're dog shit. Yes. So this is the way I look at it. You can't just say, oh, well, this isn't how it should be. Oh, it's not how it should be. No. It's not what it is. Designing games around dad gamers. No wonder how games suck now. You know what I think? I think that designing the old games was for dad gamers. Because if you go back and you see the guys that were making the games back then, they were dad gamers. This is 100% dad gamer content. Like, look at the people that are doing it. The old games are made for dad gamers, if anything. And I think that it's a good thing to an extent, right? And it's like, that's why Classic was successful, was it was very appealing to dad gamers. Absolutely. Do people play games differently because that's how games are designed, or that's all players want? I think it's a little bit of both. I think that it is both, and I think that's a very good conversation point. However, I think that it is primarily because that's the way players are playing games, because you can use Classic WoW as an example for this. People played Classic WoW completely differently than they played it back in 2005. Why is that? Because the entire culture around gaming has changed completely. Everything is being min-maxed nowadays, and you can't go and say, oh, well, you don't have to min-max things. It's just you can play the game the same way you want, because people will do that, but they're not the majority anymore. They are a small minority. So if you design a game, this is what Warcraft did with Shadowlands, is they said, well, we're going to design the game for people who just play the game for fun with covenants and things like this, and Legion legendaries, and people can just be happy with what they get. And it completely killed the fucking game, because actually people don't want to just play for fun and not care about their performance or their outcomes of what they're doing. This is not true. This is a fantasy that's invented by boomers that are probably bad at the video game, and they just want the game to reinforce that. That's all there is to it. Let's read some more of these. Best PvP is ESO. I don't know a lot about ESO. I have no idea. Classic WoW was already figured out. It wasn't figured out, then it would have had more discoverability and nostalgia element. Really? How about New World then? Let's look at New World. What were people doing in New World to play the game? Yeah, there were a few of the dads that were making posts. What do you mean the end game sucks? I'm level 14 and I've been fishing and I've been having a blast. Yeah, there was a handful of them, but the numbers don't necessarily reflect that as a majority, do it? Yeah, it sure fucking doesn't. Yeah, so this is what, yeah, the fishing boomers, this sure really doesn't fucking mean a whole lot, does it? This doesn't mean a whole fucking lot, because again, this is some tiny little amount of players, and everybody else was leveling to 60 as fast as they could. That's the facts. Damn. Damn. Ooh. I love your stream, but I disagree. Likes people like getting immersed, leveling, and enjoying the journey to endgame? Fine. I think that's a great idea. So what I think that they should do is they should have the story. I think what they should do is what they did basically with Lost Ark. Is that the story in Lost Ark is to some degree cosmetic. It doesn't really matter, and you only really have to progress in it. It's the same thing with Warcraft, right? You don't have to progress the story unless you want to. So you don't have to give a fuck. Like, you don't even have to know, like, what's Sylvanas? Who the fuck is Sylvanas? You can kill the jailer and never know who Sylvanas is, and that, I think, is a good thing. I think the story should be an introduction into the game, and it should leave off on, in my opinion, a cliffhanger, some level of a cliffhanger, and you can continue the story and continue playing that if you would choose to do that through the max level content and quests, or you can actually play the end game and do that instead. So I think that there should be a divergence, and that way players who enjoy the story can continue and enjoy that, and also players who don't enjoy the story can continue and do that instead. Do you see what I'm saying? Can we get it, sir? You hate old people? Yeah, I know. Times change. Mediums evolved and modernized over time. I think that's true. Riot already has an existing universe already. They could make such a fucking epic story. How do you feel about horizontal progression? I don't know about Final Fantasy XI, so I can't really speak to that. Lost Ark is a story. It's just spamming G-Fest. Yeah, but that's what... Don't you understand that by the nature of everybody saying that Lost Ark story is a spamming G-Fest, that it proves what I'm saying, that people don't care about it? That's the point. And that's the same thing that people say about Final Fantasy too. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole point. Yeah, shit's lame though. Yeah, people do the same thing with Final Fantasy. Absolutely. Look at Shroud comment, he replied. Okay, sure. Let me see this. Shroud's comment, I'm just gonna click on his profile. Let's see here. In-game power at all? I think gaining power should come from knowledge. I want to be in a world where I can click create character and do everything I do has some high level of importance and not just a long-winded tutorial. I've talked a lot about this. Lost Ark is a story, it's just spamming G-Fest. Yeah, but that's what... don't you understand that by the nature of everybody saying that Lost Ark Story is a spamming G-Fest, that it proves what I'm saying, that people don't care about it? That's the point. And that's the same thing that people say about Final Fantasy too. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole point. Yeah, shit's lame though. Yeah, people do the same thing with Final Fantasy. Absolutely. Look at Shroud comment, he replied. Okay, sure. Let me see this. Shroud's comment, I'm just gonna click on his profile. Let's see here. In-game power at all? I think gaining power should come from knowledge. I want to be in a world where I can click create character and do everything I do has some high level of importance and not just a long-winded tutorial. I've talked a lot about this and I can only convey so much on Twitter. I'm going to respond to this. I really liked how in New World, even the items and profession stuff you would do during leveling would have an impact on the overall economy. Yeah, because I agree with this, right? I thought that was great because, like, you're out there farming iron and that's a good thing. Like, because you needed iron for everything else. Yeah, I thought that was great. That was awesome. I love that. So I agree with what he's saying, but I would like there to be some leveling. I think that some leveling is a good idea. That's good. Yeah, I think so. I don't think that's what Shroud meant. I think it is, because Shroud was a huge fan of New World. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to sit down and talk to Shroud about this in general. Like, I mean, we're gonna have a lot of roundtable discussions with people now that we have a lot of MMOs coming out and everything, because it's important to get the information out there. Somebody's got to start talking about this. Also, Greg said he'd come on the show whenever he's got stuff to talk about, and so that's gonna be great too. I really like the New World items because you own the overall economy. Well, I think some leveling. Is nice. It should have a purpose and move you towards a greater goal in the end game simultaneously. Okay. I didn't even try. Like, I'm not even gonna try. Nope. Yep, that's fine with me. Okay. Yeah, that's about right. I agree kind of what he's saying, but yeah, I think that having the things that you do, like, for example, like, you can collect, I don't know, like, while you're leveling in Lost Ark, like, you're collecting little collectible bullshit things, like your adventure journal and stuff like that. I think that's good, because you're building up your character even at the beginning, and it feels like what you're doing does matter to an extent. Then you say you want leveling to be like a tutorial? Yeah, I know, but these two things don't have to exist independently. Like, I feel like Lost Ark leveling is a tutorial, but simultaneously, and it's the same with New World leveling, it is a tutorial as well, but simultaneously, there are things that you do in the game that allow you to have impact on max level. You see what I'm saying? So it actually makes perfect sense if you understand what's going on in the games. There's already a lot of Pepegas in endgame every game. They don't know shit. Imagine what would happen if leveling wasn't in the game. I mean, look, it's hard to know. Like, I'll tell you that. It is very, very hard to know. Let's see here. Tutorials, by definition, should help you in the end game. I feel like leveling, this is something that, like, I really feel that... I feel this way very strongly about Final Fantasy, and I'll tell you why, and I'll talk about an experience that I've had. Is that whenever I was leveling my character in Mists of Pandaria, and this is as soon as they added the boost, I wanted to boost a character up to level 90, and I wanted to boost a priest, because I planned on playing a priest in challenge mode dungeon runs and being like as hardcore as possible, pushing for realm first times. So I got the character up to 60, so he could get his professions maxed out whenever I did the boost on him, and I boosted the character from 60 to 90. I really enjoyed playing my priest all the way up to level 60. I thought it was so fun. But the moment that I boosted from 60 to 90, I was just bombarded with all of these new abilities and spells and things that I didn't know what they did. And my enjoyment of playing that priest went absolutely into the fucking shitter. and I didn't enjoy playing it as much. I didn't play it as well. I wasn't as good at it. And that's why in Final Fantasy, I don't boost any of my characters. I level every single one of them because I'm not leveling the character, I'm learning the character. And I think that's a good thing. Now, obviously, I think that it should not necessarily be mandatory for every single class because it can get boring for people, especially leveling a second character of the same class or something like that. However, it is something that I think has absolute fucking value because it teaches you 1 button, 2 buttons at a time. You don't appreciate the progression your buttons unlock? Exactly. It's hella easy to level in Final Fantasy as well? I think so too. Yeah, I agree. Learning is hard but necessary? Yeah, I think so. You should just get leveling speed increase rather than just instant max. Like heirlooms, I don't know. It depends on how long it takes. I think that's really it. Let's go ahead and do a final pass down this, and we're going to talk about the rest of this. New World sucked because of bad and repetitive quest design, running backwards all the time, boring repetitive world, not having mounts at all, not because travel equals bad. So, I'm going to address this right now. So, New World sucked because of bad and repetitive quest design, running backwards all the time, but it didn't suck because of traveling. So it sucked because of traveling, but it didn't suck because of traveling. Is that right? This is your brain on nostalgia. This is we see this shit all the time, and this is what it is. Yes, spamming this all the time. How could you possibly spam this for so long and still be so wrong? This is unbelievable. How could you do this? I don't understand it at all. It's an illness, yeah. And I just want you guys to understand the mind of these people. You know, this is what it is. This is how they think. They don't even understand what they're saying. Let's see here. Abundance of mechanics to the stalemate PP. I saw that before. Instantaneous travel. Yeah, I thought this was stupid. Daily login required. This is from lore. Oh, by the way. So I saw a fucking comment. I saw a comment on MMO Champion. Where is this? I'll see if I can find it here. MMO Champion, where the fuck is this? Probably it's gonna be somewhere on here. Go to forums, general discussion. Where is the thing with me? I don't see it anywhere here. Let's see, MMO Champion. Let's just do this. MMO Champion. Champion Asmongold interview. Okay, let's see if I can find this right here. I wanted to talk about something real quick, and there's the comments on this. Totally fucking normal comments. Just wanted to show this real quick. So, somebody posted this tweet, and this is about Josh made this response to me. So this is a couple of years ago. I'm just hoping it has so many bugs. And then Josh responded. He says, next time someone makes a video or whatever about why does Blizzard hate Asmongold, this tweet is why. So people use this as evidence for Blizzard hating me. Josh and I have been on good terms ever since then. I was talking about AQ40. Yeah, this is literally fake news. Yeah, we've been on good terms the whole time. I like Josh a lot. So if you see this screenshot, it's fucking bullshit. I saw this. People were asking about it. Yeah, and it was just it was clipped out of context to make him look bad or vindictive or something. It's a joke. Yeah, it was a joke. It was obviously a joke. Yeah, that's it. You say like Justin Alcoff? Yeah, of course. Hated for a pun, man. Exactly. New World was fun until level 60. It was like a game that took an MMO seriously. It was a cooperative MMO. I think New World had a lot of good things to it. I do. And again, I'm looking forward to playing. Maybe we're talking about how bad New World is. I don't know what kind of mental fucking disorder this is, but like the more that I talk about how bad New World is, the more that I want to play the game. Like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Why should I do this? Like, what is this? Yeah, it's so fucking dumb. Let's see here. Artificial time gain doesn't respect your time besides an engagement metric. Let's see here. I don't mind when the normal rewards you for playing regularly, but you can't do that without dictating players' schedules. Exactly, yeah. And that's about having, like, rested stuff and stuff like that. Yeah, I totally agree with this. Let's see here, yeah. Stockholm Syndrome, something like that. RNG loot. If I'm going to spend time on a game, I want to know how to get better and new items and approximately how long it will take instead of praying to maybe get something good eventually, possibly one day. Do you not like random loot tables at all? Do you want reassurance that someday you can get that item? I think someday that you can get that item. Because I think random loot tables are good, but whenever you have the RNG gods that are against you, I think that's whenever you really start disliking and not enjoying the game. That's what I think kind of happens. Yeah, it becomes too much. What sword? Yeah, true. Let's see here. No daily systems. Again, I don't really have a problem necessarily with daily systems as long as they have a rested feature to where you can catch up whenever you don't do them for certain days. Or maybe you can even get ahead. You can certain point you get it guaranteed. Yeah, something like that. Like they have that with, for example, like mounts in Final Fantasy. You get these little things called totems, and if you get 100 totems, you get the mount. And so you don't have to worry about RNG. There's like effectively a pity timer on this as well. It's the same as like in a lot of video games for loot boxes. Like if you open, how many loot boxes is it, guys? Like $500 worth. You get an artifact in Apex. No, I forgot what it was. It was quite a while ago. Yeah, it's $500, 500 boxes, something like that. Not gonna name names like all every comment is on here. Okay, I saw that one already. Okay. I'll be open. I'll be max controversial. Open chat, especially voice chat. Have a bajillion emotes, but no chat channels that don't require at least level of relationship, world distance, or shared content play. No general chat, no trade chat, no looking for group chat. Limit the number of ways people can be a drive-by asshole using chat. What a stupid pussy. Oh my god. That's so dumb. No, he just doesn't like the reason why this is stupid is because this is never going to go away. What do you think? They can't emote you and make you mad too? Like, just number one, put them on ignore. Number two, report them. This is a problem. It doesn't matter if you have general chat or not. Toxicity is going to happen because number one, it's a video game and people get pissed off over video games. Number two, the other big reason is because of the fact that it's not moderated. If you don't moderate the game, you're going to have toxicity one way or another. You don't have a general chat for this or not. This is just simply somebody that wants to control what people can and can't say. It has nothing to do with the actual quality of the game at all. It's just completely fucking stupid. Let's look at the rest of these. Every space has to be a safe space. Well, these people don't even understand how to make a safe space. Like, that's what I think is so funny about it. It's like, yeah, oh, make a safe space by making it to where nobody can talk. That sounds like a Blizzard solution. BLM in his name? What's wrong with BLM in his name? That doesn't mean that he's a bad person, okay? Like, we don't need to make this political, all right? Let's see here if I can find the rest. Rated PvP should have very little MMO influence. At any point, a player should be able to compete in PvP in an even playing field like a MOBA. Also, no dailies or borrowed power, no homogenization across classes. I think that in general, PvP and MMOs is always, again, it's like it's very contradictory. Because you want PvP in an MMO, but at the same time, whenever you have PvP in an MMO, you have to admit that I support the current thing. For not form any opinion on the matter. I mean, guys, isn't it bad if the cops shoot people? It doesn't matter what color they are. Like, come on. Like, why do you even say? Like, why? Like, what's this weird shit? Like, you know what happened? Like, you guys are so stupid. Like, what the fuck do you think happens whenever George Floyd gets shot? His family sues the fucking state and you pay it with your taxes. What do you think, that's helping you? You think that's good? You're paying it with your fucking taxes. You're paying your money. They're taking your fucking money and paying it because some stupid fucking cop can't figure out how to do something without killing someone. You're so stupid. You don't even see how this affects you. Jesus. Wasn't shot? Okay, the other one was shot. Look up right now how many settlements that the NYPD has had to make with civilians. How many settlements they've had to make, and how much money they've had to spend paying out families because they fucked over either them or their family members. Do you think they just invent that money? No, that comes out of your taxes. Or maybe they just print more of it so it deflates the money that you already have, creating the same effect. It's bad. It wastes your fucking money. He was a criminal? Yeah, but he didn't deserve to get shot. I might actually get canceled. Yeah, it's just dumb, man. You have to admit, they know nothing about how policing works. Well, I mean, I do. I mean, I feel like I know that you don't have to shoot people. I mean, shit. I mean, that seems pretty obvious. You don't have to do that all the time. Absolutely not. Yeah, listen, I know that people always have, like, their really smart opinions on political things, but I'd prefer to not have to read them. Yeah, it's about it. Someone who robs a pregnant lady deserves to die, sorry. That's fine, but if you want to tell them that they deserve to die, do it in a court of law, not by a public execution. Shut the fuck up. All of the arguments that people have about this are just, they're so stupid, like, they're just so transparently dumb and disprovable in literally a second. Like, I really, it's just so stupid. Like, what do you think? This cop is on your fucking side? Do you think these cops that go and bully people around because they're police officers, that pull guns on people, you think they're on your side? They'd be doing the same fucking thing to your mother. This is so pathetic. They're not on your side. They don't give a fuck about you. It's just pathetic. Just trying to trigger you? No, I think there's people that actually believe that. It's also bad if a fan group makes a pseudo-religion in bad faith, to be honest. I mean, of course, like, any pseudo-religions are bad. Of course. Let's see here. And it said, chat think that they're left in law enforcement? Yeah, it's just weird, man. You're not doing yourself a favor engaging people to think like that? I think that I am. I think that a lot of people never think about it because it's such an emotionally charged topic. And I'm sorry, now I'm talking about it. I'm going to have to finish my thought about this. Is that it is such an emotionally charged topic, and nobody ever thinks about it logically. Like, whenever this guy gets shot, and then the family sues the state, then you have to pay a lot of taxes. Nobody ever thinks about that. But it happens. And nobody thinks about it because they're so fucking worried about something that this person did 3 years ago. Who cares? It's dumb. Yeah, it's so fucking dumb, man. Cops are on the side of corporations since their inception. Yeah, I don't want to. It's just like, that's okay. Sure. Yeah, I'm sure you'll have a YouTube video that has a picture of Obama with, like, I don't know. He's like halfway Obama and halfway a lizard, and he's like got the triangle behind him, and it'll be a 35-minute video with white text with a black background that'll explain exactly how I'm wrong. Yeah, sure. Let's see here. Is also cost society pays to raise a person into an adult? Yes, it's just a huge fucking waste. Let's see here. Time-consuming progression. The feeling of if I don't log in today, I'll fall behind everybody else. Yeah, I saw that before. Let's see here. And I'll read actually some of Greg's responses because I'm kind of curious about this too. Let's see here. Tweets and replies. I coined the term transmog for a while, and this is a person, I'm assuming this is a person who has me blocked. Yep, I'm blocked by this person. What a surprise. Okay, and let's see here. Has he made any more responses? What are you going to do if you ask your friend to travel the 30 minutes of travel away? Heterosexuality? Wait, what? What the fuck? Oh my god, bro. That's so, like, that's just so weird. Yeah, that's just, it's gotta be bait. I guess so. Supposed to add that we aren't crowdsourcing the design of this game. I'm curious what the features are. Yeah, imagine asking people what they want. Check if you're blocked. I'm not, because I can see their message. Yeah, obviously I can. It says this owner limits who can view their tweets, if that's what it is. Yeah, let's see here. Only on Twitter you find people have a problem with 90% population. It's probably a meme anyway. I wouldn't even worry about it. Let's see. Artificial does time gating. Sometimes those systems are designed so players don't fall too far behind rather than trying to get you to log in every day. I feel like worrying that people fall too far behind is sometimes a bad thing. Is that you end up, if you try to put everybody on the same rail, then there is no solution to this that makes everybody happy. And I think the best solution is to let people do it at their own pace. And if people want to burn out and play the game really fast and be done with it quickly, I think that's generally not a bad thing, but there should be some level of restrictions, the same as they had like raid lockouts and stuff like that. Yeah, no child left behind. Exactly. I didn't play for 2 weeks while I'm behind. I think that I think things should just be, you should be able to catch up with them. That's what it is. Who would you pack between Jeff Kaplan or Ghostcrawler if you didn't have any game to make from scratch? I have no idea, honestly. I don't really know enough about their actual work and like how much actual impact they had in each game to really have an idea on that. I'm not sure. Let's see here. Aren't MMOs based mostly on fear of missing out? JK thought you meant flavor of the month. Okay, there we go. Time-gated content. What if those systems are designed just so you feel like you don't have to play 60 hours straight whenever new content drops? It's always hard to figure that out, but I feel like every game is going to have dailies. This is just a new way of game design. Let's see here. Let's see. Not MMO raid. Okay, all right. I've seen all of these so far. Let's play catch up. You've been talking about a tweet for 2 hours? Because it's important. Of course I'm talking about a tweet for 2 hours. Now I'm going to be talking about you, talking about me making a tweet for 3 hours. You want that? Huh? You want to have that?